Hey everyone, welcome back to your week ahead astrology breakdown. I'm Matthew Oliver with Stillwater Alchemy, and we are integrating that Capricorn new moon. I feel personally, and from what I've heard from others, that everyone seems to be getting their act together and implementing boundaries, understanding their worth, respecting time in typical Capricorn fashion. I want to read some comments that were shared on Stillwater Alchemy story post when I asked how are the Capricorn dominant individuals feeling with this new moon, because they're going to feel it the most given that that new moon is aspecting one of their luminaries or their ascendant. And so we have a variety of responses. One, I've been irresponsible with my finances, tired, but feeling much more aligned since the Cap full moon last July. Smooth, very vivid dreams, optimistic, charged, so bratty and grumpy, emotional, grateful, impatient for change, determined, all in one. Feeling powerful, like the weight of 2023 is gone. Went for an afternoon walk and found $20. Lots of sudden shifts, lots of colorful language in a positive manner of feeling galvanized, feeling charged, and then also the opposite end of feeling maybe lethargic or feeling exhausted or feeling emotional. So we can see that there's a large response, which we knew with this Capricorn new moon being conjunct Pluto, which is going to bring all that energy up or allow us to stand in our personal power and move forward with confidence. So just know that for this week, the moon is growing in light and we're still implementing that new moon. It wasn't just when it happened, right? And of course, if you want additional resources, journal prompts, energy to help you integrate that new moon, I'll put the link for the Capricorn New Moon Workshop. It's free. It's on this YouTube channel. You can watch it whenever you would like. So some announcements. Number one, the 2024 astrology guide is still on sale until January 15th. After January 15th, it's going to go back up. So if you want to take advantage, you want to learn more about the transits, have an additional resource for you to learn and grow your knowledge all year long, that is available for you. Number two, as I've been saying, with this month, the month of January, if you sign up, any new client that signs up for a coaching or mentorship package will receive 30 days of unlimited support via text, via voice note. So if you are wanting that support, if you're wanting to get your act together and get everything smooth, elevated, expanded, you can reach out. I'll put the contact link below as well. And also, I'm going to be in New York City, in Manhattan, available for one-on-one readings in person. So if you would like that, I'll be there January 21st, 22nd, 23rd, or those are the days I'll be available for in-person readings. So reach out and we'll make that happen. Now, moving on to the greatest victory of the week. This one comes from Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Due to health and finances, my husband and I had to live with family for 5 years. Things were especially bad when my husband was diagnosed with cancer. He is a year in remission as of last September. And while he was out of work, unbeknownst to him, they had him in mind for management. He interviewed for the position before Christmas and got it in January. Congratulations, congratulations on the expansion of health and this job opportunity. But wait, it gets better. Since the eclipses, we have both been feeling the energy of living here was coming to a close, but we couldn't afford to leave without him getting the management. We found an apartment that had more than was even on my manifestation spell and signed the lease today on the Capricorn new moon. We get the keys next Friday and we're hoping to be out the next day because I'm leaving for my best friend's bachelorette party the following Wednesday and I want to come home to our new home. It's scary to feel so good, but I know we deserve beautiful things, especially after the trials we've been through the past 7 years. So congrats, Sarah. This is such an amazing story of perseverance, of trust, of doing the work and having these beautiful rewards, expanded health, career expansion, a new home. And these stories are so vital to hear, to celebrate, to believe in, because if we look at storytellers, also known as actors, And when they are in plays, TV shows, movies, they allow us to feel something. Many people repress feeling anything because they don't want to feel the pain. But in order to heal, we have to feel that pain. We have to be able to move through these things, especially on a health standpoint, so that we can get to the other side. And then when we can feel the excitement, the joy, the expansion, we can often look back at certain things in our life, maybe not right away, but we can look back and say, thank God I went through these things. So I had an opportunity to rest. I had an opportunity to reflect. I had an opportunity to heal and come out the other side knowing that this was all meant for a very specific reason, even if it was challenging, if not impossible to understand why in that moment. And then we all get to celebrate and enjoy these types of stories and then know that it's possible for us, and having these timelines or having situations where it can feel very, very either hopeless or challenging or contractive, and then we know that people in our community are succeeding. So beautiful story. Thank you for sharing, Sarah. My greatest victory was earlier today. I was at the gym and I was working out and I thought, the moon is in Aquarius and it's making a square to Uranus. How am I going to be made to feel uncomfortable today? Because that's usually a very key indication of moon making a challenging aspect to Uranus, the moon being our body or emotions. And I was in the sauna, minding my own business, and there was a conversation that was taking place very loudly right in front of me that was using transphobic language. And so I told the individual that the wording that they were using was not appropriate, that it was denigrative and disrespectful. And I never assume that people know anything, and not from a rude standpoint, but if you've never been exposed to certain information, how would you know? And if I were to speak out of turn, I would like to be corrected kindly. So I offer that to individuals. But he did not take my words as such. He came back very aggressively, and his friend then also gained up on me. And so I thought, okay, so if we're going to go toe to toe, then my Aries moon, Mars and Scorpio, and my mutually receptive square between Mercury and Jupiter have now entered the chat. And bless the Aquarius moon in transit, because I was able to use critical thinking, higher knowledge, and common sense to rebuke everything that they were saying. Just subjectively and objectively, it didn't really make any sense what they were saying. And at one point I said, if we can't have these types of conversations where people can express how they're feeling, express certain points, then how are we supposed to grow? If we can't feel safe to voice how we feel in public, in our relationships, how are we supposed to grow? And furthermore, just from an equality standpoint, this language, anyone would know if they've done a lick of research that this is extremely inappropriate. So bringing that to the awareness so that, and that is one thing I will say, when I left the sauna, the person who used a derogatory language, I could feel internally like a seed had been planted, so that even if he didn't agree at all that what he said was wrong and disrespectful, that something had shifted, which is the whole point, right? And this is important because it speaks to a bigger theme of Pluto moving into Aquarius and how that's going to be shifting the dynamic and how that's going to be recalibrating the power that certain groups of people have to others who are really focused on building community, who are wanting to be leaders and do these types of programs of outreach or inclusion or sharing knowledge or sharing resources with everyone, not just the people that are in power. And now that Mercury is in Capricorn, making that aspect to Mars and Jupiter, we all get to decide how powerful our voice is, where we get to say no, where we get to say yes, feeling comfortable and safe in that, so that we are not continually building structures that are antiquated and old, that we are not being bystanders and allowing people to use their voice to dictate how we should live. And I think obviously it struck a chord with me, being gay, being queer, having people attack my community and being very, very rude and disrespectful, that if you are a minority and you've been told that you are less than or that your existence is a sin, you know how much work it takes to reprogram yourself and to find self-worth in your being, in your body, in your purpose. And I'm excited for when Pluto moves into Aquarius because we're definitely going to see a power shift. Maybe not right away in 2024, because remember, Pluto still goes back into Capricorn later on in the year. However, we are starting this movement, and I know many of you watching are so intelligent, are entrepreneurs, are content creators, are writers, are leaders, and you have such an important message to share, and people listen to you, and people are going to trust you, and that power is coming and it's growing. So if you have something to say, I want you to be able to share it comfortably, being strategic. But again, it was a victory for me because I didn't come in pointed or heated. I was like, if we can go toe to toe, especially when the ego is involved, I see this in client work, that if you're going to come in offensively, the ego is just not even going to help the other person have any type of openness or receptivity. When someone attacks our beliefs, of course, there's a likelihood the ego is going to defend because, like, we don't feel safe being attacked or having our beliefs being challenged. So going in and just calmly rebuking every single point and then leaving with a message of hope felt really good. And for those who are into electional astrology, that whole incident happened during a Cancer rising chart, which put the moon in Aquarius in the 8th house, trauma, pain, making a square to Uranus in the 11th, large groups, of course, the queer community. So astrology just gets you every time. The last thing I want to say on that is just knowing the power of your voice and knowing what you stand for. It kind of reminds me of the saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And trusting that your purpose, your voice, what you want to build is going to gain power and momentum, especially with Pluto moving into Aquarius, which guess what is happening this week. So let us jump in to the week ahead. Monday, January 15th. So as I mentioned before, Mercury is now in Capricorn. It's finishing up its post-retrograde shadows this week. It's making this amazing conjunction to Mars, and it's making that applied trine to Jupiter while being co-present the Sun and Pluto for most of this week. So I really want you to pay attention to this because, one, of course, this Capricorn ruled part of your chart is going to be extremely activated. Secondly, with regards to Mercury being our voice, being our mind, being commerce, business, there's going to be opportunities for long lasting energy and implementation of thoughts and beliefs. So truly with the Capricorn new moon and now with Mercury in Capricorn, this can likely feel like a new cycle, a new beginning where you might know firmly what you are wanting to say yes to say no to, where you're putting your time, where you're putting your energy, what do you want to build long term, especially in regards to career, money, finances, investments, your health. These are really big energies to sit with because with this trine to Jupiter, there's so much room for expansion. And for some, it might be physical money, like a raise, a bonus, money coming in. For some, it might be the idea of this opportunity, this creative endeavor. And so this opportunity to expand your mind, Mercury, mind, Jupiter, expansion, be like, oh, I now see things differently. I see things in a more hopeful, expansive, joyful way. It can also be the energy of someone who is influential or generous, or it could be like a new teacher that you connect with, a new mentor, or maybe you find someone whose content you absolutely resonate and you just binge everything. You're learning so much. It's such a fast rate because remember, Mars accelerates things. So this could also be one of the things where you sit down, you start making content, you start working on a school paper, you start working on yard work, it could be anything, and just things happen so fast and so quickly. And on Monday, especially with the moon in Pisces making that conjunction to Neptune, the separating square from Venus, if you did not rest this weekend, if you did not integrate the Capricorn new moon energy, this could be a really good day to rest. It could also be a phenomenal day to brainstorm and just go really big now that this feels very much like a new year, a new cycle. If we're talking about calendar year of 2024, it's like this is when things are likely to feel that much more clear, more purposeful, and more exciting. Like there's this forward momentum. Maybe things that were pending, you now have the foresight, the clarity, the opportunity to expand on that. Because we also have the moon in Pisces making that sextile to the Sun, to Pluto, and to Uranus. So things are going to be shifting on Monday either way. I think, especially in relation to your dreams, your spiritual practices, your faith, your hope, things are really moving forward. And this can also be something to do with a feminine energy. That's why I was saying if you didn't have an opportunity to rest, this could be a good day to rest and to really feel into that. Or even now with Mercury in Capricorn, shifting your relationship and placing boundaries with either a feminine person or a feminine principle, so that you have the energy, the strength, the excitement, the time to move fully into your dreams that much easier. All right. Now, Tuesday, the moon is in Aries, making that square to Mercury and Mars. So this can kind of feel like a fire is being ignited under your booty to either act or to really move in some kind of direction where you're like, no, I need to do this. I feel really excited. And it could be something brand new because the moon is in Aries, right? And we have all this cardinal energy in Capricorn being activated as well. And this can be something like I was mentioning with Pluto moving into Aquarius and you finding your voice, or you standing up for yourself, or you knowing your worth. This could be going against mindsets and paradigms you've thought your entire life. It's like, who am I to go after this dream? Who am I to make this much money? Who am I to say no to two jacked guys in a sauna that might beat me up? If you feel so strongly, if there's this intense urge to go after what you want, it's like, yes, I'm going to do this no matter what, because I know it's true to me. I feel so excited, I feel so passionate, I feel so hot, and I know I want to act on this. That is the energy of Tuesday. And is there anything else I want to speak on? Yeah, because Tuesday, Wednesday, the moon is going to be making that applied trine to Venus. So this is likely to be something that you really, really want to do, something that really is exciting, that is going to bring about a lot of passion. Because again, we have the moon and Venus in fire signs. So it's a good time to be a fire dominant angel if you have a lot of Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius energy in your chart, because this is also going to really spur that. And again, with the moon making this aspect to Chiron and the North Node, an energy that's coming through on Tuesday and Wednesday, with the moon approaching the first quarter phase, like there needs to be some kind of action. You're going to have to move, and it's likely to be in alignment with what you emotionally need and likely want to move forward. So just be mindful of if there's something you feel maybe impulsive, if you don't normally act that kind of way, or if it feels very aligned or very inspired, to make that action. And one thing to note is making sure that you have the structures in place so you are not burning out or you're not overcommitting. Because with the moon making this square to Mars, it can feel like I have to do this and this and this and this and this, and I have to do here and I have to go here. Or you can just do the one thing that makes you happy, even if that means disappointing other people or leaving something where it's like, I know this may be going against structures that I've been building for many moons, but I know this to be true in my heart. I have to honor that. And I'm not going to keep saying yes to different things when all I actually want to do is write a book, take a nap, adopt a cat, whatever that is for you, because like this is what it's truly going to bring me joy right now. I'm going to move forward. And for some of you, this could be a new relationship, especially when we get to Wednesday, right? Because now we have the moon making a trine to Venus, and the moon is moving into Taurus, which is going to be making that applied conjunction to Jupiter. So the moon is basically sandwiched between two benefic planets. And yes, I know the moon will still have a few degrees until it gets into Taurus, but the week just keeps getting better and better and better. And furthermore, we're also seeing this Sun-Pluto Cazimi getting closer and closer. So we've been talking about this a little bit in the content for those that have dominant cardinal energy, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer in these late degrees, that there's going to be, or if there hasn't already, from that Capricorn new moon, there's likely to be another death and rebirth phase. And this one might feel like the final emergence of something happening, or physical, tangible proof that what you are leaving behind is now cultivating the new life, and you're fully stepping into that new life or this new energy, this new opportunity, and not looking back, right? That's getting activated now with the sun in very close aspect to Pluto, which is going to go exact in a couple days. Thursday. So now Thursday, the moon is conjunct Jupiter. And furthermore, the moon is also making a very strong trine to Mercury and Mars. This is a phenomenal day to make money. This is a phenomenal day to invest. This is a phenomenal day to apply to anything, whether it's a job, a scholarship, a grant, anything with earthly energy, something tangible. If you want to apply for land, apply for a mortgage, apply for a home, this is the energy to do it, because we're talking about the moon exalted in Taurus, making a trine to Mercury, and then Mars being exalted in Capricorn. Like, this is just such a phenomenal day to do whatever you want, truly. For those that are wanting to conceive a child and get pregnant, this moon trine Venus on Wednesday, and then the moon making a conjunction to Jupiter, like Wednesday, Thursday, if you are trying to get pregnant, phenomenal days to conceive. Number one. Number two, if you're not trying to get pregnant, but you're trying to bring forth something, or trying to birth something in terms of a job, an opportunity, a financial amount, doing the email marketing, doing promotion, to putting out 10 videos on TikTok to build the algorithm in your favor, whatever you are trying to build, Thursday is a phenomenal day to do that. This can also be a day too, like let's say you go to your bank and you want to see if you can rework accounts, apply for a different credit card. Maybe you can be on a different payment schedule to pay off debt. Maybe they're going to help you with your student loans as well. Maybe you're going to talk to someone who's extremely affluent or intelligent with this Jupiter energy to help you feel more calm and safe with your finances. Or maybe you hit a breakthrough at the gym and you're like, cool, now I can go further or go harder in a way that I never have before. I know that the work is working. There's going to be, as you can deduce, some kind of beautiful moment of either clarity, expansion, or both that is going to spur you and encourage you further. So that when we get to Friday, which is like the astrology is just popping off this week, but especially on Friday, because we have the Sun-Pluto Cazimi. A Cazimi is when a planet is so close to the sun, usually within 17 minutes, that it's said to be in the heart of the sun, in the heart of the king, so to speak. So the energy of that planet gets amplified. And it's at 29 degrees, which is also known as the arenetic degree, the critical degree. So please look at the Capricorn ruled part of your chart on Friday. There's likely to be something around you being seen, acquiring more power, getting out of an unaligned relationship or obligation, a contract being completed, a contract getting started. Something to do with power, extremes, wealth, or clarity or truth is going to be happening in that Capricorn ruled part of your chart. And then it's also going to exaggerate those themes of death and rebirth if you have prominent cardinal energy in those later degrees of your chart. Now, we also have the moon conjunct Uranus, so there's going to be a shift. And then the moon is making that applied trine to the Sun-Pluto Cazimi, right? So depending on the time zones, there's going to be a lot. This could also be like the story that Sarah shared for The Greatest Victory, where everything happens at once, where it's like the job is leading to the home, which is leading to greater comfort and security. Or it's like you get the job and then you also go on an amazing date and then you also win a trip and a giveaway. Or it could be like everything is happening at once and you're like, oh, I've actually been so powerful, or the work is working. And again, we also have the moon making that applied sextile to Neptune. So it's just really strong days for manifestation, really strong days for change, really strong days for being seen. And when we move into Saturday, we then have the first day of Aquarius season. Now, we see that the Pluto is at 29 degrees, 59 minutes. Later on Saturday, on Sunday, Pluto's going to move in. Let's just actually see. Let's go get the hour by hour play down here. Yes. So we can see at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time that Pluto will move into Aquarius. So depending on your time zone, but we also then have another definition of Cazimi is in the same degree. So we do have technically a Cazimi of Sun, Pluto, and Aquarius that's 0 degrees. So why that's important is that if you are someone that has fixed placements between 0 and 3 degrees, so Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, or Scorpio, that Sun-Pluto Cazimi at 0 degrees is likely to spark something as well. And then especially if you have an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising in those early degrees, you're going to feel it. So that's another invitation where you can look at not only your Capricorn ruled part of your chart, but the Aquarius ruled part of your natal chart, because on Saturday, Sunday, that intensity of the sun and then Pluto moving into Aquarius back to back is going to be quite huge. And this is something as well that I talked about in the 2024 astrology guide. I'm going to be talking more about Pluto and Aquarius as well, is the sense that One, this is an air energy. This is a fixed air energy. It's a fixed air energy ruled by Saturn with a modern day rulership linked to Uranus. How are you shifting the boundaries? How are you creating your own identity? What thoughts are you thinking? What words are you using to describe yourself or to advocate for others, right? Because Aquarius is such a big focus on community, for inclusion, for the collective, and using our intellect, our critical thinking skills to help people grow and evolve. That's why, for me, spirituality, entrepreneurship, is often very closely linked to Aquarius because they don't want to do what everyone else is doing if it doesn't make sense. And often they're going to push back on these rigid, antiquated beliefs or ideals because if it doesn't make sense for even a few people, then we need to be able to understand things from their perspective so that everyone feels like they belong instead of just one person ruling and everyone agreeing with that one person, which can be a Leo type energy where we admire the king, the queen, the celebrity, the politician, and idolize what they do, even if there's other people suffering because they don't agree with what that person has to say, right? So with that Sun Pluto energy that's being activated in Aquarius on Saturday and Sunday, with the moon also in Gemini, making that trine to the sun, there's likely to be a lot of new ideas, thoughts. It'll be interesting to see how this manifests on a macro level in terms of like news, stories, or world events, social media. If you're very sensitive to social media, I would maybe stay off of it Sunday, Saturday. But if you have something to say and you want to share content, then it's a phenomenal time to do so on Saturday and Sunday. And remember that for majority of this week until we get to Saturday, there was no air energy present because the moon started in Pisces on Monday. So this is just to go back a little bit to emphasize the air energy in your day-to-day to feel grounded, especially if you have a lot of air energy in your chart, the air signs being Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, to ensure that you're working on your breath, that you're calming your mind, that maybe you're getting outside more often and getting fresh air, that you're journaling out your thoughts so you're not trapped in your mind or feeling like you can't express yourself in the way that you need to, which again would just trap you in overanalyzing or overthinking or not being able to move forward with all the beautiful expansion that's happening this week. So of course, we also have the moon making a square to Saturn. When we move on to Sunday, then the moon, one moment. When we move on to Sunday, the moon will then be making that applied square to Saturn, which is why I was saying like moon making a challenging square to Saturn, the moon in an air sign. We have this Sun Pluto energy in Aquarius. These are days where I would go inward and see what needs to be brought up to the surface, what you need to say, if there's conversations that need to be having, maybe scheduling those times to talk with those people, to have those conversations. Maybe you're going to be preparing for an interview or a presentation, or you're getting those applications signed, sealed, and ready to go. And one other thing is that Venus is going to be leaving Sagittarius, moving into Capricorn next week. So they're going to be shifting there as well. And just to go back here, there's so many things I can talk about this week. So Friday, I got excited with this Sun-Pluto Cazimi. But Friday, Venus is making a square to Neptune. This can be challenging for Venus because when we have a square or an opposition with Saturn and any planet, it can make things seem confusing, or we can be indulging in fantasy or just not seeing things clearly. One positive way I could look at this is going after your dreams and not allowing other people to diminish that, allowing yourself to be seen, allowing yourself to dream, allowing yourself to go after what you love, and not making any excuses, right? Because then we still have this Mercury Pluto trine being activated with the moon conjunct Uranus. This is also a time to see things for what they are with the Sun Pluto Cazimi that's happening on Friday. If there are relationships that are no longer aligned, that are no longer making you feel powerful or seen, then you have to see things for what they are, not allowing sweet nothings or potential to distract you. And this is also going to be in effect on Saturday and Sunday because the moon, pardon me, Venus is still in that hard aspect to Neptune. So I don't want you to fall in love with potential. I do not want you to sleep on your dreams. I want you to go after exactly what you want. Do not make excuses. Do not play that victim mentality. Do not allow what other people are thinking, what other people are saying, getting in the way of what you know to be true for you. And then that can also be part of this moon in Gemini energy, making a square to Saturn and Neptune on Sunday, is that you're going to be able to think clearly or set new guidelines for your thoughts, for your beliefs to be in alignment with those dreams. And let's just take one more look here. Yeah, so Sunday, Monday, depending on your time zone, we kind of have this this T-square with the moon in Gemini, Neptune in Pisces, and Venus in Sagittarius. So this might feel like a contraction phase where you're getting the expansion of expand, expand, expand. And then over the weekend into Monday, you just have to recalibrate your mind and your dreams to know that you can have it all, Venus, especially Venus and Sag. And that it's okay for you to like these things. It's okay for you to want to speak up on these things. It's okay for you to pursue these things and not be fearful that it's not going to work out, that you're not going to make the money, that you're not going to be chosen, or any of those old paradigms. We're working through them over the weekend for you to get to the other side. And for some of you as well, it might manifest in people around you having those thoughts and energies, which is why I was saying that potentially avoiding social media Saturday, Sunday, as a lot of energy is going to be going on, is going to be wise. And if you're on social media for work, for business, for pleasure, that you take time to get grounded, that's going to help immensely. All right. So for the astrology question of the week, it comes from Emma. Hey, Emma, asking, what is a progressed moon? How is it calculated and what can it tell us? So secondary progressions is a timing technique used in astrology. It's more of a intermediate advanced timing technique because you have to have understandings of the signs, the houses, the moon, what it encompasses, and then also moon phases help a lot with regards to a progressed moon, understanding what moon phase you're in and how that applies to your life. What I'm going to do is speak on this, but I'm also going to put a link in the description of this video where you can calculate where your progressed chart, not just your moon, but your entire chart, and where it is in relation to your natal chart. Because what it can tell you is that with regards to your progressed moon, whatever sign it's in is going to be very influential in terms of how you connect to your emotions, maybe what you're going through with a caregiver, what type of care and nurturing you want or what you need, or where that's going to be focused in your life, or where is a good place for you to go deeper in that part of your chart. And then also with regards to your progressed moon, you can look at if it's in aspect to any other planets in your chart. So let's say your progressed moon is conjunct your natal Venus, likely to be a very pleasurable time or when things are going to go really well. If your progressed moon is conjunct your natal Saturn, there might be things you have to place better boundaries around to protect your emotions, to protect your home, to make sure that you are doing things that maybe feel hard or challenging, but are going to benefit you long term. Now, how is this calculated? You can use the link that takes you to astroseek.com, but another way of looking at it is for every day after you were born. So let's say you were born January 1st, 2024. The next day would represent 1 year in your progressed chart. So if we're looking, I'm recording this on January 13th. So the progressed chart would be 13 years for that progressed chart, because 13 days after the date of birth of January 1st, 2024. So how you can look at this is the progressed moon will change signs every 2.5 to 3 years. Your progressed sun changes signs every 1 degree every year, because that's how long it takes the moon to change. A degree is 1 day. So like I said, it can be a bit confusing or a lot to take in, but just the notion that every day after you're born represents 1 year in your progress chart. So if you're 40 years old, you can look at the natal chart 40 days after you were born, and that is your progress chart if you want to kind of figure it out on your own, or you can just use the link that I provided and it'll show you that progress chart. And then just to recap, the sign in which your progressed moon is in is going to tell you the energy around that zodiac sign, how you can feel, process your emotions, what you're wanting to go deeper, potentially even with a caregiver like a parent or your family, to feel safe and nurtured, what type of nurturing you want, what house your progressed moon is in is going to show you where that energy is likely going to be centered around. So let's say if your progressed moon is in the 12th house, then taking time to retreat, taking time for self-care, taking time for your mental and spiritual well-being are going to be extremely important. And then if it's a bit more advanced with your knowledge, you can look at the aspects that your progressed moon has with any of your natal placements to see what other energy is going to be coming up to help support the domains of the moon, which can be your emotions, your body, your caregiving tendencies, or what you want to receive from a caregiver or from nurturing standpoints, and can also just be around. I also think with the moon, it can be pleasure. I know that's Venus's domains, but we receive pleasure through our bodies. So when the moon is happy, often we are happy. Like when you eat a delicious meal, that derives pleasure, right? So if you want me to clarify that, or if there are follow-up questions, let me know. I can also include that in next week's breakdown. And there are many beautiful books and courses that other astrologers have written around secondary progressions. You can be doing more research on that, but the basics are going to benefit you immensely. And trust and believe, I am creating basics around the signs, planets, aspects, and houses. So if you so choose, there will be future resources to gain knowledge on that. Okay, we're good to go. Thank you all for watching. Please let me know if there are any breakthroughs anyone else wants to share. And if there's any amazing breakthroughs or manifestations that happen from the transits this week, because there's a lot of really good ones, if you feel called to share, I would love to hear it. Also, a great teaching way to show how these planets manifest. I'll be sure to update you on my end. I mean, I'm going to be in New York City when a lot of these transits happen over the weekend, so I'm excited for that. And I think that's all. Have a phenomenal week ahead, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.